The power of a pardon is not so mysterious. It's pretty simple. On the governor's level for state crimes or the federal level with the president, he or she or whomever's in charge, right now it's a he, has the right to clear the books of all charges from a crime for a person. They can commute sentences and send them from someplace like a long time sentence to a shorter sentence, or essentially wipe things clean even if they're still serving time. We'll talk about that in a bit. But recently, Donald Trump had a few pardons out, and there's one batch that's out here that's maybe in play that makes people wonder exactly why the founding fathers put this power into the hands of their future leaders of the presidency, how that would go about. We're not even talking about January 6 pardons. That's a whole nother ball of wax that we don't have time to get into. This is a quick hit of a couple things that happened in the last couple of days or weeks, if you will, of folks who got their books cleared from Mr. Donald J. Trump. Starting off with yesterday, as I taped this on the 28th of May, we're talking about the Crisleys, both Todd and Julie, who got a pardon, full pardon from Donald Trump on the 27th. A phone call to their daughter, Savannah, and the sons as well on the call, talking about what's going to happen. And paperwork signed on today. They should be released from jail tomorrow in most cases. Now, they are sending a message, and that message is a bit convoluted, about what you get from, I guess, being associated with Donald Trump. However, Trump says he has no knowledge, doesn't know these guys personally, although Crisley, the Savannah, spoke at the Republican National Committee for convention for his nomination, and has been a staunch supporter of President Trump all over the place in the socials and everything. Todd had a 12-year sentence, and Julie had a 7-year sentence for tax evasion and bank fraud, basically getting $30 million in loans they should not have gotten. This decision follows the campaign led by Savannah to get them released. Basically, she asked Donald Trump, and he said so. Trump said a couple's sentencing was overly harsh, and the pardon completely erases their convictions, despite the fact that they have not finished their cases yet. They're still in jail serving time, something in most cases and pardons you've already served your time and paid your restitutions. Critics say it's another example of celebrity influence swaying presidential clemency, which we'll get to again in a moment. This one, not so much celebrity. This one, a wrong to a guy who was just done so wrong. A Florida sheriff, former sheriff, was pardoned by Trump as well. He was convicted of accepting bribes in exchange for hiring and promotions in his department. He had served less than half of his 10-year sentence, and Trump gave him a full pardon as well. Trump claimed this sheriff was wrongly targeted for political reasons. These things seem to kind of flow around and, sound familiar. And ethics watchdogs have raised alarms over the pattern of pardoning political allies and donors. These things will sound very similar because it's the case where someone tossed something at him or some influence, and maybe that got this sheriff a pardon early in his actual sentencing or sentence. Let's go to another person. This one we don't have a name for. This one we don't have an actual picture for. This is a general picture of soldiers. But a former Army officer was court-martialed for refusing to follow COVID-19 safety protocols. He received a full pardon from Donald Trump as well. Trump stated that military went too far in enforcing pandemic restrictions. And so with that, this guy was just following the fate of freedom, trying to be a patriot and just be free. And because military put too many clamps on folks, he got court-martialed. Trump made it all free and clear. He's getting his time away as well. The officer has been removed from duty and sentenced to 6 months. That's what happened. But veterans groups are also a bit split on the pardon's message. Now, maybe the military might have been harsh, but he was given a conviction, and just given a quick pardon like this doesn't really serve well in people falling in line and following orders. Another interesting pardon set goes to Paul Walzak. Paul Walzak got a pardon from a weird association. He's a Florida businessman who's convicted of tax fraud. Okay. And shortly after his mother attended a $1 million per head Mar-a-Lago fundraiser, she showed up with a check to be at Mar-a-Lago. Walzak got a pardon as well. Timing raised eyebrows because it was literally within moments after, or days after, the fundraiser going through that it was processed. But the critics are calling it a transactional. Trump says this team is, it just sort of happened. He's from an extraordinary family. He's an advocate for what's going on, and families should stay together. So the son was released, coincidentally, around the time that the mother was handing over Trump a check. This one hasn't happened yet. But at a campaign rally, or a rally, I guess he's not technically campaigning, Donald Trump gave a couple words about the guys who tried to kidnap, or at least plotted to kidnap. The trial wasn't so much put in place. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and saying that it was a railroad job. They were forced into a conviction. It was a bad deal. The move draws outrage from Michigan officials and domestic security officials because this was kind of a pretty big deal. And it means people who want to do really bad things to people of import because they think they're of import and they want to just make a name for themselves may be triggered to do this. Legal experts say such a pardon would be highly controversial given the case's domestic terrorism implications. This is something that is literally a case of domestic terrorism. This is him, Donald Trump, letting someone go who's a domestic terrorist. We're not talking January 6th, so we're going to let that one slide. But considering it happened in Michigan to a governor, sitting governor, and the whole thing was such a big deal when it happened, this is something that if actually turns into a real thing, although this is one of those pop-offs that happened at a rally, would be sort of something to really, let's just say, talk about. So let's talk about it. A quick rambling run through of some pardons that Donald Trump has given in the past couple of weeks, and one that he suggested, although I don't think that one's actually going to happen. I'm going to give him more credit than that one for that one going forward. But the sheriff one, that one was seen coming. The soldier, that one was seen coming. The donor, oh, that was seen coming. And of course, the one for the Grizzlies, not quite seen coming. Came out of nowhere for most part, but guess what? We're talking about it. It got Trump in the news and got him some spotlight for at least 3 things we brought him up on today itself for videos. So we had a video early on the Grizzlies and their pardon specifically. This one is on the president and his pardons in general. Maybe some of his past pardons, maybe the pardons he may do in the future, maybe the fact that he seems like he's up for a bit of a transaction. If you're a guy that has something he might like or something he wants to be attached to, maybe if you did something on the wrong, you can get that pardon. Of course, he pardoned his father-in-law or his son-in-law's father. That happened as well. And other people who may have done some bad things. Other presidents have done the same thing as well. I have been very vocal and very loud about the whole Hunter Biden thing because that was ridiculous. However, maybe Donald Trump has a few tricks up his sleeve that will make that one pale in comparison. It's up to you. Let me know what you think about this one, all the pardons, and maybe a couple extra Trump things you want to toss into this video here.